What if I told you there is an ancient temple in Tamil Nadu where goddess Parvati herself is believed to have taken the form of a peacock and worshipped Lord Shiva? And what if I told you that this beautiful story is connected to the very name MAYILADUTHURAI? But that's not only fascinating story associated with this temple. There is also a tradition about a devotee who arrived too late for the sacred bath in the Kaveri and is believed to have received another opportunity through the grace of Lord Shiva. Why is this temple so deeply connected with Peacock, the Kaveri, and the idea of divine grace? Let's explore the spiritual story of MAYURANATHAR temple in Mayiladuthurai. Om Namah Shivaya. Let's get started. Now first, let's see why is it called Mayiladuthurai. Mayiladuthurai is one of the ancient spiritual centers of the Kaveri Delta. Historically, the town was also known as Mayuram or Mayuram, but the name Mayiladuthurai has beautiful connection with the temple's mythology. The word Mayil means peacock, and according to the traditional Thara Purana, goddess Parvati worshipped Lord Shiva here in the form of a peahen. That is why Lord Shiva came to be known as Mayuranathar. So, when you hear the name Mayiladuthurai, remember that behind this name is an ancient story of Shakti, Shiva, and devotion. The story of Parvati as a peahen. According to the temple tradition, goddess Parvati took the form of a peahen and came to this sacred place. She began worshipping Lord Shiva with deep devotion. Imagine the symbolism. The goddess herself takes the form of simple creature and stands before Shiva with complete surrender. She doesn't come with pride. She doesn't come demanding anything. She comes with devotion, and eventually Lord Shiva blesses her. This is why the deity here is called Mayuranathar, the Lord of the Peacock, and this story gives us very powerful spiritual lesson. What does the peacock represent? Why peacock? The peacock is one of the most beautiful birds. It spreads its magnificent feathers. It is naturally associated with beauty and pride, and yet in this story Parvati takes the form of a peahen and worships Shiva. There is a beautiful message hidden here. Before the divine, the ego must become smaller. In our lives, we often identify ourselves through our achievements, my career, my money, my house, my success, my status. But when we stand before something greater than ourselves, all of those identities become temporary. The story of Parvati as a peahen reminds us that true spirituality begins when the ego becomes quiet. An ancient temple of Shiva. Mayuranathar temple isn't important only because of its mythology. It is also an ancient temple with strong connections to Tamil Shaiva tradition. The temple has Chola period historical associations, including inscriptions from the region of Kulutonga Chola I. The temple is also associated with the Tevaram tradition, with the great nine Mars praising the sacred place. And this is something I personally find fascinating about the ancient temples. They weren't simply places where people went, prayed, and left. They were centers of architecture, art, music, literature, spirituality, and community life. Every stone has witnessed generations of people coming here with their hopes, fears, and prayers. The sacred connection with Kaveri. Now let's come to another major reason why Mayiladuthurai is spiritually important. The Kaveri. For Tamil people, Kaveri is not simply a river. She is revered as a mother, and Mayiladuthurai is closely associated with the sacred tradition of Snanam or Tulasnanam. During the Tamil month of Aipasi, devotees traditionally come to the Kaveri for the sacred bath. The belief is that this period has special spiritual significance, and there is a fascinating story connected to this tradition, a story that teaches us something about faith and divine grace. The story of Mudavan. Murakku. There is a traditional story of a devotee who wanted to perform the sacred bath in the Kaveri, but unfortunately, he was unable to reach the river in time. The sacred period had ended. Imagine how he must have felt. He had traveled, he had waited, he had carried his faith with him, and now he had missed the opportunity. But instead of giving his devotion, he continued praying Lord Shiva. According to traditional belief, because of his sincere devotion, he was given an opportunity to perform the sacred bath at another time. This tradition is known as Mudavan Murakku, and for me, this is one of the most beautiful messages associated with Mayiladuthurai. You are not too late. Think about our own lives. How many times have we thought, I am too late, everyone has moved ahead of me, I am too old to start again, I missed my opportunity, my dream is over, my life should have been different by now. But the story of Mudavan Murakku gives us another perspective. Maybe you're not too late. Maybe your journey simply has a different timing. Sometimes life doesn't happen according to our schedule. We want something today, but it happens years later. We want one path, life takes us somewhere else, and sometimes what looks like a delay may actually be preparing us for something we cannot see yet. That is why this story is so powerful. Abhyambikai. Along with Mayuranathar, the goddess here is worshipped as Abhyambikai. The word Abhya means fearless or protection, and I love the spiritual meaning behind that name, because when we go through difficult times, what do we really need? Sometimes we don't need an immediate solution, we simply need the strength to face tomorrow. We need someone to tell us, don't be afraid. That is what the name Abhyambikai beautifully represents, the Divine Mother who gives Abhyam protection and courage. What this temple teaches us. So, what can we take home from the story of Mayuranathar? First, let go of ego. Even Goddess Parvati's story is associated with humility and devotion. Second, don't give up because of the delay. The story of Mudavan Murakku reminds us that what happens to appear to be too late may not be the end. Faith is not just asking for what we want. Sometimes faith means saying, I don't understand what is happening, but I still trust. And finally, remember the Kaveri, a river keeps moving. It doesn't stop and ask, why did my journey change? It simply continues. Perhaps our lives should be the same. So next time you visit Mayuranathar temple, don't just look at the peacock symbolism. Look at yourself. Ask, what is my ego? What am I desperately trying to prove? What am I holding on to? What am I afraid of losing? And what am I calling a delay in my life? Maybe you're not actually behind. Maybe your journey is simply different. Just like the devotee who believed he had missed his sacred opportunity, sometimes grace can arrive after we think the moment has already passed. So if you're watching this video today and if you feel that your life is moving too slowly, if you feel that your dreams are taking too long, if you feel that everyone has moved ahead, I want you to remember the story of Mayuranathar. You're not necessarily late, your journey is not necessarily over, and your prayer is not necessarily unheard. Sometimes God's answer comes in the form we don't recognize immediately. The peahen came to Shiva with devotion and received his grace. The devotee came late and, according to tradition, received another opportunity, and perhaps that is the message this ancient temple continues to give us even today. Never lose faith simply because you think you are late. Your chapter may not be finished, your story may not be over, and your best days may still be waiting for you. This is Mayuranathar Temple, Mayiladuthurai, a sacred place where Shiva, Shakti, the Peacock, and the Kaveri come together in one beautiful spiritual story. Om Namah Shivaya. May Mayuranathar and Abhyambikai bless you and your family with peace, courage, and divine grace.